The Anti-Corruption Commission, we all know, say, not them, not the government institution, where they take the lead in the fight against corruption. And in the last CPI, the 2023 CPI will launch in 2024, like you say, Salone go 2 places up. And then this year, then go 2 places backwards. And waiting happened that 10 day. The Anti-Corruption Commission, them use that one day, for show say, then really they work in terms of fighting corruption. And this year, we go 2 places backwards, where the show say we still the wallow around that 32, 30, 33, 35 for the past 2, 3, 4 years. So now around the same figure again. It shows say we dey make some steps in terms of fighting corruption, but those steps that we are making are baby steps, which is good. As a country fight corruption, on the whatever step we make, we need to recognize that. As a commission, whatever small score they make, they go trumpet that one day, so that and create some fanfare around that one day, so that we will see, say the ACC the work, which is good. The ACC is doing their job, but in fighting corruption, it is not only the Anti-Corruption Commission then they look at. The Anti-Corruption Commission gets a mandate for investigate and prosecute. But you get other institutions then where also they come to play in terms of fighting corruption. And then study they ask what they do. It's not only limited to waiting the ACC they do with regards to the mandate. It also they encompass other institutions.
So, well, earlier I'll tell una say today we dey look inside the fight against corruption as we don't hear plenty time where the Anti-Corruption Commission can come out to the public, especially when they go to various media houses. They don't they talk about different policies and strategy them when they say that they use for fight corruption in the country. And we don't dey suicide international body them like Transparency International. We want to work now for ensure say then track country them on how they fight against corruption. They know they pull different reports them where they show the data on how them country are so on the fight corruption. Well, the recent one we come inside this February from Transparency International. Now the one we talk about the fight against corruption na Salone. And according to the data and statistics where Transparency International reports will show say Salone perform poorly. In fact, and drop from the 35 out of 100 where they score last year, and this year na 33 according to the figures them where they na the TI report. Well, for can help we talk more about the process and procedure them where they use for put together this report. And the studio this morning we get the acting executive director for Transparency International Salone, where na Edward B. Coleman. Good morning, Mr. Coleman.
I'm happy to be here this morning.
All right, that's the acting executive director for Transparency International. We join their counterparts them all over the world for put together this report where they can pull year in year out. And again, we expect somebody from the Anti-Corruption Commission for can tell we with all the strategies and policies where they know they work with, but why up till now international body them like TI they rank them say they still get challenged by the fight against corruption. Well, you said for the watch this morning and want to be part of the conversation, send we your message to the number 074200545. But they can out to you, Mr. Coleman. Just like what I don't tell we viewers then. Transparency International, a renowned body where they work all over the world. When I get a global movement, so I can join on a counterparts then. For put together their reports there, on I can pull year in year out. But this year for Salone, suicide the figures they drop down. And internally, we don't know the CEO side, the ACC say, then they put together the strategies, policies, and even in a run after people where they can catch for alleged corruption practices. Firstly, give people a background as to how one can come together as a global movement or put the report here together.
Yeah, thank you very much. Transparency International, as we all know, and an international civil society anti-corruption network, where we get with secretariats in Berlin, Germany, and we get local chapters them in over 120 countries around the world. And inside Sierra Leone, we are the local chapter for Transparency International. And within Transparency International, the focus on now for promote transparency and accountability as a way for corruption in countries them around the world. And also they work with governments them for make sure say them put the necessary mechanisms in place in terms of fighting corruption. Transparency International believe in evidence-based advocacy, wherein then they conduct studies them, then do them findings, and use them findings then they for engage the appropriate authorities them for make sure say then take the necessary steps and necessary actions, put the necessary mechanisms in place as the way for fight corruption. And one big study where Transparency International can do when a global study now the Corruption Perception Index, where we can rank country then every year as to the progress where they don't make in terms of fighting corruption. Before this time, we will also get another study where we do as Transparency International, when at the Corruption Barometer. For the Corruption Perception Index, we will look at the country generally and see the progress where they don't make in terms of fighting corruption. Then the Corruption Perception Index, therein, we will zero in on a particular issue in a country and conduct a study on that. But I can remember in 2013, we've been do a study on bribery, where we've been pulling a door, where we say inside Sierra Leone, about 7 out of 10 people say, you know, they don't pay bribe. You know, the government's not be happy about that. But because there was substance in waiting, we see after that, the Anti-Corruption Commission put in place a kind of campaign where they call the Pay No Bribe. And at the UNDP, when an international body means support them, that shows say waiting TI being pulled gets credibility. We see UN body support the Anti-Corruption Commission for do that study there. But over time, this particular study we are in with the zeroing on particular issue of corruption, we don't roll out. We now Afrobarometer that they do that study day on behalf of Transparency International. That is why you see every year the Afrobarometer and they pull a study and they capture areas they already talk about corruption. But yet still, TI still they conduct this corruption perception index where then they rank country them around the world every year. And so for this particular year, we launched the report of 2024 inside February on the 11th to be specific. Now, we pull Nado the 2024 Corruption Perception Index. And like you say, according to the study, we dey rank country them and we dey score country over 100. We dey rank country them based on the number of country that we take part in the study where we assess. And you know how ranking they be done. Maybe if 2-3 country meet up now the same rank, the next country go up or it can down. So most of the time we're not can so concentrate on the ranking if we look at how country don't perform, because it based on the number of country, and maybe if a country that meet up and position, you now ranking can be you can get for go up or you can down. But the score now in very important when are over 100. And as you rightly say, for the 2023 report will be launched inside 2024, we've been score 35 over 100. And then for Salon score 35 over 100. And then for the 2024 study, we'll be pulling Nado inside 2025 in February, we scored 33 over 100, which shows say Salon go 2 places behind.
So these 2 places, Edward, there's a catch here where lots of people can get some confusion. These TI reports, now international reports,
yes,
when they join on a counterpart all over the world. But when you look at other reports, the way they come on, or other benchmark them, where they put the country in a better position in the fight against corruption. Also, the ACC they come out say they don't score high marks. But some of them reports there, like report like TI, they show say the country still a struggle in the fight against corruption. Last year they go 2 places up, this year 2 places down, which shows the struggle there. So what think you make the ACC they come with their own figures. Una your reports like you show the contrary.
Well, the Anti-Corruption Commission, we all know say, not them, not the government institution, where they take the lead in the fight against corruption. And in the last CPI, the 2023 CPI, we will launch in 2024, like you say, Salon go 2 places up. And then this year, then go 2 places backwards. And waiting happened that 10 day. The Anti-Corruption Commission, them use that one day, for show say, then really they work in terms of fighting corruption. And this year, we go 2 places backwards, where the show say we still the wallow around that 32, 30, 33, 35 for the past 2, 3, 4 years. So now around the same figure it shows say we dey make some steps in terms of fighting corruption, but those steps that we are making are baby steps, which is good. As a country fight corruption, on the whatever step they make, we need to recognize that. As a commission, whatever small score they make, they go trumpet that one day, so that and create a fanfare around that one day, so that we will see, say the ACC the work, which is good. The ACC is doing their job, but in fighting corruption, it is not only the Anti-Corruption Commission then they look at. The Anti-Corruption Commission gets a mandate for investigate and prosecute. But you get other institutions then where also they come to play in terms of fighting corruption. And then study they ask what they do. It's not only limited to waiting the ACC they do with regards to their mandate. It also they encompass other institutions then. I will candidate this now for tell Fumble, the different and study them where they look at and waiting at the areas and the indicators inside and study them. So go see say it's not all about the Anti-Corruption Commission, but you get other institutions them also where for be very active in terms of fighting corruption, if we for make meaningful impact in this first year, so where we depart.
Like we said earlier, we expect the ACC for Senate representative, where we also go join with shortly. But like you rightly state, the last 2023 report will come out, where then be the 2 step ahead, where then move go up. Then be open time where they make reference say the TI report and the 12-step report, they show say anti-corruption, they make progress. But whenever the country calm down on the facts, then we use the word now perception. Say anybody can get a perception. Like this particular we don't come out to the country not perform well. You ask the ACC, then go tell you say it's a perception, and anybody can get perception. It depends on who that you ask. Yeah. In this context, the word perception, who that's on a cover, we give this perception about the fight against corruption, we don't show say the country go 2 steps down.
Okay, thank you very much. Now let's just take Fumble through how we put this particular index together as Transparency International. Now, for the 2024 CPI, we cover 180 countries. And say if we do that large number of countries then it will be very difficult for you put boots on the ground. We are in people and go now each of the 180 countries the and administer like questionnaire, and then analyze the questionnaire the That one would be very difficult and it will be very costly for do that, because say study itself what you're doing inside one country, we know it in than they may. So for the corruption perception index, what thing we do for put them findings they also together? We look at credible studies them where they don't conduct, around the world, we capture the various countries them where we look at inside the study. Like I said, now 180 countries. So for the 2024 CPI, the sources them where we use for do this analysis na 13 sources them generally for all the countries them. But for Sierra Leone, for be specific, na 9 sources them we look at for do this analysis.
What are the sources there? Because they're not like it's a perception. I just casually wanna ask people where like the SEC can normally say it's a perception.
Yes. Yeah.
So waiting at the reference then.
Yes. So that has been some of the things we can say. Then, like I say, for the barometer, we will do that one day. We a lot of issues be they come, but yet still it proves wait till we say correct because we see the actions so the ACC take and how far that go for reduce corruption. So for the CPI 2024, like I say, now 9 sources out of the 13, 9 they look at sources that we cover Sierra Leone. The first one, now the African Development Bank CPIA 2023. And that one they cover the period September to November 2023. And inside that particular study, the index, the indicators they will look at, they look at public sector accountability and access to information. So you see, in the fight against corruption, it's not all about the ACC. ACC get their own mandate, but you get other things that we look at where they enhance corruption, like access to information, all that thing that we look at. Then you get the other one way, now the Bertelsmann Foundation Transformation Index, and then Puller Study Day in 2024. And it covered the period of January 2021 to January 2023. And waiting at the thing the way that they look at inside that study day. They look at corruption prevention and legal enforcement against acts of corruption. So this don't fully come out now at the purview of the ACC. Because in the fight against corruption, the judiciary also gets a role for play. Because the ACC can investigate, prosecute, but after that, the buck stop with the judge for give whatever judgment. And whatever judgment they will make, the ACC, if they're not happy, maybe can appeal. But they also get a role for play. So you see all the other things that they look at it. So this is not all about just the Anti-Corruption Commission. Then we also look at the third one, when at the Economist Intelligence Unit country ratings of 2024. And that one day, they look at budget transparency, misappropriation of funds. So you see the different in them. Misappropriation of funds, bribery, merit-based appointments in public sector. So they look again how then they appoint. Because how then they appoint people for all public office can lead to corruption. So you see so you see the different thing that they look at. You see? So this not just the other one then. We look at the Global Insights risk rating of 2023. It covers October to December 2023. This one they look at risk of bribery in import and export, obtaining public contracts, procurement, and conducting other business-related activities. So now all thing they for them place for fight corruption. You they look at also another study where they call the PRS International Risk Guide of 2024. It covered the period of 2023 September 2023 to August 2024. What's in they look at? Corruption in the form of excessive patronage. This time in party company. Let again this opportunity. We're not supposed to forget them. Let contracts, for example. Nepotism, job reservation. You keep job for the boys. Who don't forget them, not the data you give them. So all length in the exchange of favors, secret party funding. So you see, even also political party, their actions also they show how we progress in terms of fighting corruption. That's why political party financing now something we're very, very key. Because then they lay the foundation for corruption. Because if somebody can illegally support a political party with money, if that party they've been waiting to happen, now that person they will consider, even if you not forget a contract and go get a contract, you don't have to support the party one kind of way. Even if you not qualify for a job, because if you don't support the party, they can give them a job. Then also the World Bank CPI in 2023. Now another study where they cover January to December 2023. Which they look at transparency, accountability, access to information. Then another one at the World Economic Forum EOS 2024, we cover from March to August 2024. They look at bribery and diversion of public funds. Then the last one, now the World Justice Project Rule of Law Index 2024, we cover from February to June 2024. This one, the indicators there we then look at, now the use of public office for private gain in the executive, the legislative, and judicial branches. as well as the military and police. So now all the different indicators there, so they look at the rate country. Not to only no more waiting the Anti-Corruption Commission they do. Because if you limit them just to the commission and waiting they do, then we'll be right up there. But you get other things then when they come into play in terms of rating country, in terms of the effort in fighting corruption, because you get enablers of corruption when all things there, so we need for be addressed for make that kind of impact and move up to the 60, 80, 90 overall the South civil self as a country.
All right, Edward, continue for the routine of the program. Well, viewers, in case you just tune in, that's now Edward B. Koma, the acting executive director for Transparency International Salon. Today, we analyze the corruption perception index, where they just pull inside this February, we should see for the past 3 years, Salon really the struggle from 35, Kandom 2 step to 33. Waiting responsible for all of these and waiting at the things them whether they watch for one, it gets for do with how government they give work to people and they look for political party funding and then they look for how public servants them then sure say they don't mix pan corruption. And some of the index then is so that they track or put country them now the position outside they're supposed for day. We will come back to you, Mr. Koma. As you tell Una earlier, would they expect somebody from the Anti-Corruption Commission for can tell we waiting and think about this particular report and how they use them policies and strategy there in the fight to ensure that their figures they are so good on. Well, at the studio this morning, I pleasure forget the Director of Outreach and Public Education, as always, Patrick Sandy. I believe so. I don't see and various media houses they include the liberty and it's always open and this can come on. Then you can face the public and talk about waiting and they do from the UN end. Good morning, Mr. Sandy, and a pleasure for being here this morning.
Very good morning, Khadija. Happy New Year, Nancy, and very good morning to Mabel, your co-host.
All right.
Happy New Year.
Many happy returns, and a pleasure for getting our new studios.
Thank you very much. Exactly. I want to congratulate you now. At the time that you invited me, but I've been there on leave.
Okay.
And I was practically out of it.
Okay.
Not only on leave, I was not coming on leave, but I was out of it. I was in the
all right.
But it's a pleasure being here.
Okay. So I believe say you come in, you meet Mr. Koma, they talk about the methodology they use for put together this particular report, which should say as a commission are still a struggle in the fight and Salon dropped 2 places down from 35 to 33. We can't talk about the CPI index so they analyzed this morning. But quickly, I believe so you don't follow the trend, now the news and the social media, but several things them where they go on. The one when a topical one this weekend, and they all get for do with the chief immigration officer, also an international journalist. They make a post now in personal X. They analyze about 2 houses them where this journalist based on research say the chief immigration officer when a honorable Alusain Kane been by now overseas with from 2022 to 2023. And then particularly, if you watch the screen now, you will see the tweet where they refer to. It say Alusain Kane when just the alleged drug baron from the Netherlands, when a right-hand man, he been buy the houses there so for 1.9 million between November 2022 to July 2024. And in order to explain it, to say he pull this particular fund as a civil servant. I don't know if the ACC don't see this particular allegation. If yes, we don't start any form of investigation.
Well, I'll come to this, but quickly, maybe by way of correction. When you say the commission struggle, as my brother would say, is a country. You know, let's look at the country.
No, that we can't talk about the CPI index. Who can they?
It's about the struggle, the world struggle. It's not only the ACC. This therefore be looked at from the context of the country. That as a country, that's why they say Sierra Leone ranked. The ACC is a lead agency, so we take responsibility. But as a matter of fact, let us give the people the correct picture. So regarding this stuff, honestly, me this year, but what I would say to it is, we'll definitely pay attention to it. But you know, sometimes these are issues when they come for the first time, you have to take your time to sift through. But it's an information pertinent to the ECC because it's about what you will refer to if it is anything to go by unexplained well. But as a commission, we therefore do we own it.
Like first time this for
everybody's
issue.
For Yeri and see. To be candid, I was also not, I'll go on the Amadia program. I was in Bo, and when I'm in Bo, the family did it, so I'm not mostly glued to the social media. So what you do is your wife. I'm not bragging. Making left for slow down. So that's the more reason why I'm not able to say I only can yesterday. But on a more serious note, I'm sure people within the commission will see this, and I'll tell you now again that once it is of interest to us, and it's of course of interest to us, but if we don't see them, we'll take the necessary steps. As I don't just say the starting or end, the entry point will be determining if at all he owns this property, how he can get them, and if he ever declare how, all of those things are part of the investigative process. They are not going to wrap. But it will be an issue for the ACC. Just as my brother mentioned in the analysis of the different sources, the things that people look at about the activities of political officials. You see, political patronage, political party financing, because at the end of the day, if you bankroll a party, probably not as how it happened in America, where you see Elon Musk to give people $1 million every day. But if that happens in Africa, or Sierra Leone to be specific, the person would have to come back for recouping money and with interest. So it's definitely going to pose a serious challenge in the arena of corruption. So that's why they frown at them, and it is not something acceptable. So that is it on the aspect we may talk. But coming to the report itself, as a commission, we welcome the report. You see, this is the time where people therefore begin for lend credence to data. Because I recall when these reports will come favorably, so to speak, even though we are not where we wanted to be, but you get people in some sections of the report we still been getting reservations, as if we are going to would they bribe people then forget this kind of report in with favor. But we don't see this kind of report, and we appreciate the report, and we see say there's a decline. We'll be the 108 now with the 114, we'll be 35, and so we'll be 33. But again, as a commission, we they play with your part. But it is about the responsibility of other players. We know they cast blames, but the fight against corruption, we they take leadership. But we all know that there are other sectors. Look at what happened over the period with the gas audit reports. Say there have been the throwing and throwing here. These are all things people out there go see. You also look at activities around the parliamentarians. So it's not about casting blame. Your brother talk about the judiciary. They are supporting us. We are all partners. But as an institution, we ACC, we work with them. But we not get the responsibility for go say, this is what you do. And as we sit here, even the commission get some cases and pending judgment. Now the High Court of Sierra Leone, we partnered, we gave him the report of judgments then. And this is an independent institution, an arm of government. You don't get that, you don't even have it. The commissioner, they engage the Chief Justice time over time, but if that is the outcome, what do you do? And we don't want time for let it be confrontational. It's partnership, it's collaboration. And I'm not there, as I say, for cast blames, but you are journalists, we get civil society. Let us give this thing a broader view.
So, Mr. Sandy,
does it rest only with the ACC?
Mr. Sandy, yes. Is the commission challenged? Because take you back in December, the public see the back and forth between the ACC commissioner and that of the deputy speaker, where they head the Public Accounts Committee in Parliament. For the same reports where you make mention, when are the audit reports about Uda get right, Uda no get right, for call people and scrutinize them or hold them to account for alleged misappropriation or corruption. Will I really challenge for doing our work?
No, well, basically, it's not about challenge in the entirety, but challenge in certain areas. That is a fact. It goes without saying.
So, una not get the free will. Because it clear say ACC and Parliament, ACC and Parliament the battle, and this also.
But free will sometimes people will look at as if it is free will from the president.
Parliament and ACC the battle, not only first tennis. Because I remember back during the term where Joseph Fitzgerald be the same issues there. So come up about who that get right for watch the report first or for scrutinize the report first. And then same issues there, so they continue year in, year out.
Well, you see, the commissioner made it very clear. Now, 98. I'm sure that could have gone to other places. The issue is with the personality now. Even when the speaker now, Senator was the deputy speaker and head of the PAC, there was a clear understanding. There was a clear understanding as to what happens with all the reports. The point is, we not go for, say, the parliament or PAC not get that right as per constitution for saying that they force. But if there's anything in this country where they for do with corruption, alleged corruption, and somewhere it has been stated, we not get the responsibility. That was just the clarity. For them, we understand. And that kind of issues. So, but to go and say, if the ACC call, no. If we don't call, say parliament, we don't call, then we try to draw the line and see that we know we're not going to be called here and there. So, but that's the issue. But I'm sure we have resolved it, so to speak. And we see, say, going forward, we'll be able to address it. What I mean, or look at all the reports. I was just trying to cite an example. Whereby, when we look at corruption, it is not just the focus of ACC as if we know they do it.
Now that's
Because around it, some people want to think. You also think, say, you get procurement aspect as well, what therefore do with the transparency and accountability landscape
understandable
in this country.
But I take you back.
However, if we get any information, we therefore bother on corruption as an institution, we go take steps. And it is those specifics that I want to believe, say, we for the speak to.
Previous years, where Salon can make progress from the TI and other reports and we can come out, the ACC wholly and solely can take full credit for saying the ACC don't work or don't make progress. But whenever there is a reverse, now that's when the ACC they make a shared responsibility, not on a normal responsible for the fight against corruption. Just like how you indicate, just now you explain different aspects and side them way supposed for work for let the improvements go there generally when the reports here can come out. Now in this context, alone we see the reports don't come out end, now the reverse, the cons can go behind and the facts based on the reports we come out. From all the indicators then they, which parts or which sector you go say no they go na full cooperation for the improvements they pandenka indicators there where they come out. Also the greatest challenge they pan the facts.
Well, you see, as I say, I know can't really forecast blames on institutions. We all do in the integrity space. But we should be seen playing our part. And for play we part very well. As an institution, ACC, we also ensure that where issues of corruption in there, we go in, we address them. But whereby you get other institutions where they say, "Oh, this is our own area, and you don't have to come there." ACC, no. That is the point I am making. For instance, I started to say the audit report, this issue about parliament. You also go look at other things, I talk about the judiciary. And these are institutions that are independent, so to speak, in what they do.
But then work they affect the overall performance.
It relates.
Of
so
the country
it relates. Definitely
fight.
it relates. Definitely they relate. They relate. Because as I say, when you even talk about the country institutional assessment where IMF can do or the World Bank, the Ministry of Finance can champion that. They look at governance improvement. They look at, for instance, the ACC with asset declaration regime. We can provide responses, but it also includes other institutions that send their own contribution to the CPIA. So if that CPIA report or indicator not good enough, Sierra Leone will not be ranked wisely. Rwanda, the rank are always very good. But Rwanda not even get an anti-corruption outfit. The other time we went for good, they only have an office of the ombudsman. So what they say is about the entire governance architecture. Now you also get to look at and see efforts being made in regard to transparency and accountability. So as a commission, we are playing our part, we are challenged. That's as I don't say in a year. But this is the time, or this is the wake-up call, a clarion call, for that we all be coordinated in what we do for deal with issues of corruption. To say when we will get credit in indexes, we will come out, take responsibility.
No, can you make reference for give credit to
No, but I am
support.
making this
It can
point.
just be the
That is the more reason why it is Sierra Leone. Let us don't take that away. That Sierra Leone that they score, it is not ACC. We have not seen any report. When they say Afrobarometer, na Sierra Leone. When they say the Mo Ibrahim Index, it is Sierra Leone. When they say the MCC, na Sierra Leone. In our country rankings, the same with the CPI, it is Sierra Leone. So let us have that focus. And as I say, really without not blaming institutions, but if you come to the judiciary, we are seriously challenged. Probably I am to say
what's another challenge within the judiciary?
The challenge is about outcomes of cases we take to court. We get with anti-corruption court, what they may call a special division. We get we registry. But at the end of the day, what is it that you feel say forbid the outcome of cases? If somebody is going to be acquitted and discharged, let the person be acquitted and
Mr. Sandy, with all the reports here.
But if somebody is going to be convicted, let it be convicted. But if you have cases where they as old as 10 years, 8 years, what are we saying about justice? And if somebody comes to make that assessment, and these are issues, even we say people come, they talk to us, they interview us, and we make references.
Mr.
And
Sandy,
if you find out, say, in a year we take matters to court, that whole year probably you don't even get judgment as a result of those matters.
Mr. Sandy,
we are not putting the entire blame there. But the fact of the matter is, let me look at it from the holistic perspective. Because when somebody comes for make assessment, they will go to ACC. Will they do fantastic systems and process review? They do fantastic public education work. Will they go to schools? Will they go sensitize people about what we do? We get the project where NATSA they do, the PSSNYE. We go to communities, we get district monitors, we talk to them about the work we do. Investigation with the conductor massive. You see, we non-conviction based asset recovery model, where we also don't introduce. And that is also yielding fruit. The resources we don't come over 73 million new loans. So we are making significant progress in those areas. Look at the asset declaration regime. Last year was the declaration year. This year is the verification year.
Mr. Sandy,
and very soon we will come to the public for telling the list of defaulters. Before I come to
the public for tell them all of them things there. So we then report there where they come out year in, year out. Not just take the past 3 years as a case study. And you back come out with the audit reports where they come out every year. They show missing billions where the government official or public institution are able for account for. With all this as an example, what you go tell to somebody where go say the ACC no get nothing for sure for the past 3 years where come and the fight against corruption. With all the reports there where they come out, so just they analyze now, they all come out from the CPI index, and also you get the audit reports where they show say billions of taxpayer money they lost every year.
No, well, basically, what they say the past 3 years. Not only this year.
Because with the site based on waiting Mr. Koma just tell we earlier, say the figures they fluctuate, not steady.
No, they may not be steady, but the fact is.
So with all of these as example, what you go say to somebody where a genuine citizen, we go say the ACC not don't do nothing in the fight.
No, that person would be fair with that comment we will make. I will tell you free that it's not a fair comment on the part of the ACC or for make reference to the ACC. I believe say the ACC don't do in every best for CC address problems of corruption. But corruption persists. Corruption persists. Let me start for highlights. So if somebody is done, you make that comment, bring the highlights. This last CPI, we quite agree, it don't come out. Last year, it was not this, it was 108. The other year, it was 110. It may not be significant progress. It's a gradual. But the fact of the matter is, this year, there is a decline. And you see the number is huge. But for say, ACC, no, they do nothing. Somebody making that comment. I will see that person for being unfair with the ACC. Because this is an institution where we all suppose for support or for giving support for level 5 countries.
Somebody go to say Mr. Sandy is in denial of the fact.
I am not in denial.
No, if you are genuinely, we don't hear you all waiting, Mr. Kuma don't say, or we don't get access to this report, or they analyze, they get access to the audit report, the reality where they happen at salon. listening to you go say you are in denial of the fact.
I am not in denial. Anybody can challenge what I'm saying. What I am convinced about, now they talk, that person in comment not going to be fear. Look at the recovery so they make the monies where they turn over. Look at the monies where for don't go down the drain. Look at the monies where some gentlemen there na SLRA, but them money they will brought back. Look at other resources where they bring back to the government. And also investigative work, so what would they do? What would they charge people that go to court? But for them, you just sit down and say, as if ACC, we just grab the money, we go to the office, we sit down, they play with computer. It's unfair to us. It's unfair. Let me say, let us look at this holistically, broadly, from the perspective of what are the mandate for the ACC and how well are they carrying out that mandate. We get a mandate for fight corruption broadly, prevent. How much of interventions we don't make into NDAs? The IMCs we don't create. How much of them? You know, will get rid of corruption entirely in a country, especially in a country like ours. But the fact of the matter is, steps or conscious steps are being taken for addressing problems. Asset declaration is something we are also pushing. We don't go 100% online. Now, as I tell you now, we don't program the defaulters list. We are going to send it out and we tell people. But there was high compliance, over 95% compliance. We only get very few. But you know that all these are benchmarks to the fight against corruption. But you see, people are more interested in our arrest and conviction. And that's the more reason why we are focusing there as well. So because if even ACC they recover, whatever will recover, the fact of the matter is, your business also includes to go to court and secure conviction.
So for the ACC,
you know we'll get away from that.
For the ACC, una believe say una did the right track and the fight against corruption, and if only na una institution no more the perception so maybe the cover una for don't pass.
Exactly so. Maybe I'm very convinced about that.
What make you convinced?
I'm convinced about the gains we don't make. When you look at the public education engagements we make, because you have to sensitize people. Which actions will they take on reports? Give me time.
But all Mr. Sandy, all the CPI they talk about.
We don't work as an institution. We are doing it. We did one.
So why then reports they continue for show say lapses there? Because all them things they are so. All them things they are so boil down to corruption.
We accept.
That might not all look at the ACC as an institution, but all them things they are where Mr. Kumado highlights. For example, giving job to who don't merit them, nepotism, appointing people, the same family, just put them in one sector because you get access to power. All of them things that they speak around issues of corruption.
Yeah, so according to which act?
We they talk about the report and the issues then where they talk about the corruption. So is that
they understand? Let us look at these are broad issues. Where of course, like how we talk no more political party financing. But in Sierra Leone, let us be realistic. Would I go begin ask even political parties from the time of nominations? How people get nominated to certain positions. And these are the people that go to parliament. The problem is huge and bigger. We all know this.
So the fight don't big for now?
No, the fight has always been big. This is not now. Let us understand this. The fight against corruption is a daunting task. The fight against corruption is a difficult fight. So, but therefore, you take your responsibility as an institution by your mandate for one. But as they say, let us look at our political party structures. The two main political parties in Sierra Leone. The SLPP, the APC. Now, SLPP, they had the lower level elections. You don't hear the rancor. When people there may want, at the end of the day, they are the ones going to elect people for go to district or provincial or regional and national offices. What goes into those things? And you want the ACC to go and monitor those elections or to see who is being bribed or who is not. But when the people out there doing the analysis see transparency is not in the process, they raise the red flag. But now you turn it to the ACC. So now we will now want take we hand, put Bangana fire. As the Creole one will say.
Because on a walk.
No, not everything is covered in the act.
In every sector.
No, corruption is quite a very broad term. Even when we talk about bribery, my brother mentioned about bribery. And these are the instances. When the bribe is taking place, where are we? When it's an agreement between the corruptor and the corruptee. You can give money. The person will say, no, I know the puller. These things are quite a very challenging. As a country, we really need to be resolute. Look at even the beneficial ownership, where currently also is something that is very important to the international community when they talk about conflict of interest. Have people made declarations of beneficial ownership in program in projects or in institutions or enterprises, so that at the end of the day somebody they sit down now himself the award contract to himself?
You state
So transparency is key when you talk about the fight against corruption. But where do that start?
You state earlier say if the ACC no more TI been they look at for assess the fight against corruption, progress for don't they as far as not concerned, because not convinced not don't they do waiting it takes for fight corruption at the camp.
Significant.
So there are other institutions that were responsible for work with una for Salongo improve and the fight against corruption. Una get a whole department where supposed for they do preventions. In terms of preventions, if there has been progress, why the other institutions they are all where una supposed for the reach out in terms of prevention, still the field for prevent corruption on a daily, you self no say corruption they happen. Waiting they happen with the prevention.
You see, not only prevention, let's help you as well. Even with national anti-corruption strategy, get a lot with it.
The prevention is important because if you prevent and then it not happen.
I understand. I'm not disregarding prevention, Mama. I'm
so waiting they happen.
That as well is another preventive approach. I just want that we bring the all two together. I'm not debating, or sorry, I'm not dodging sort of your question. No, I agree with you entirely. No, you didn't say now. Where at the mention, you are still bringing in prevention skill. Probably if you say na tactics, I'm not using tactics here. I just I make a say probably. Yes,
all right. So let's talk about the prevention.
The prevention aspect is this: we are making strides, but the point is, even when we go to prevent, we not micromanage. My sister, that's always the point we make. What we do, we ask institutions or MBAs, how do you do your practice and procedure? We don't go to overturn the mandate. We just go and say, if the way you are doing your thing is not correct, we want to make it better.
Okay.
And if you do not comply, that is where we go in for ensure compliance.
Right.
But there are times you go to these institutions, even you find out, say, you don't put systems in place, you want for candy monitor, the systems are broken again. So that is the reason why you see, even institutions we don't do prevention, we as well investigate them.
All right.
So those are the issues which arise from the prevention work. But quite a lot is happening in that angle for try for help institutions for put their business together.
All right. Continue for day with you in the program. In case you just tune in, you listen to Patrick Sandy, Inner Director of Outreach and Public Education. He comes from the Anti-Corruption Commission. Today we look at the CPI index. We just come out inside this February from the Transparency International globally, who said enjoying counterparts for assess country them on how they affect corruption. And this report shows the Salon dropped 2 places down from 35 to 33, waiting at the thing they were responsible. Now Patrick Sandy, they explained this morning. Well, they come now over again to the executive director for Transparency International Salon, where na Edward Bikoma, where na then get the reports and then do the survey and put together this data with them publish so that the citizens then could know exactly how the fight against corruption they go on at the country. Earlier, before we come to Mr. Sandy, we will explain you the different things then we want to take into consideration for put together then data there so we don't publish we shows the salon still struggle. One of the way you talk about na appointment by merit, the way how public officials and they get job, and you also talk about political party financing, and all of them things there it deal within the corridors of the states. The media, civil society, citizens, then don't they discuss, especially on the area of appointments, giving job to the boys, the nepotism, don't they see outside the president they are appointing, picking them for take certain position them nationally and internationally. With all the issues there, we still there at the corridors of the state. There is hope for the figures then go up. Maybe next year again, we're not ready for do another survey.
Well, there will be hope only if, the ACC, according to party, accepts the report but that's just an institution. But like we say, this na a study, a report for Sierra Leone. And according to the indicators then, where we look at and then different reports when from there we draw the war for do this it shows say plenty other institutions then get responsibility in terms of fighting corruption. That is why we where they fight corruption, we can say if a country for make meaningful steps or meaningful strides in the fight against corruption, then the three wheels must come into play. And each and every one of those wheels gets to be very effective. The wheel here what they refer to na WILL. Now, the first wheel na political will. When you talk about political will, many a times in Sierra Leone, we can miss the point. When we talk about political will, we can only we focus to the president or the presidency. Where, yes, now they begin, but also all other people then, where government and presidents appoint for serve into offices, they also fall under that political will. The parliamentarians, anybody where they vote into office also through politics, yeah, also fall under that will. So they all get responsibility. So if the president decline asset today, no means say there is total political will, because it's not only limited to the president or the presidency. And also, talking about political will, the president, when I in then at the end of that particular will day, supposed for demonstrate and exhibit, clear position in terms of fighting corruption. Because the president is the beacon of hope, Sierra Leone. It's the fountain of honor. So people then they look up to him for certain things them where them for follow. There was a time when they talk about asset declaration during the last regime. Because civil servants them they drag their foot for declare their assets, what did happen? President Koma at that time was the first person for declaring assets to the Anti-Corruption Commission. Patrick attest to that. And after that, what happened? We see plenty now begin falla. So now some of them things then we need for the sea at that level lane. But if something happen where something touch the presidency, I'm not talking about the president no more. The presidency, na a whole unit, outside the people who they work and all. Touch the presidency, then we see a lot of backlashes were very negative. Then they na a devastating blow to transparency, accountability, and the fight against corruption. You can remember there was a time where an audit report come out. Then say a particular receipt that been there where the auditors then go there from hotel that would have been lodged with travel overseas, where now false receipts. Then waiting happen according to waiting we understand from the inquiry we follow. The auditors them go directly to the third party when at the hotel for verify without going back to the client when at the office of the president. So they see that they as professional misconduct. And waiting happen. A whole auditor general and in deputy, we see them suspend them, we see the issues that will come out. But after that, waiting happen. Let me say there has been professional misconduct wherein the auditors them go consult a third party without getting clearance from the client when at the office of the president. Yeah, let me take and so. Yes. But waiting happen. Was there a false receipt or not? If there was a false receipt, who was responsible for that? Has any action be taken against the one that were in at the office? You see some of them things in there. Yes.
Answer we now.
Yeah. So now that's how they say.
All of the action they don't taken by.
Yeah. Yourself can attest as a journalist. Say all we know what happened. The one them will raise the red flag. Now then they go punished. Then, but we not go further like for investigate. Yes, we go say yes. Them people that don't do. We don't take action that way there. because we say now professional misconduct, although the people then get reservation on that. But what happened was there a false receipt. So now some of them think then they need for be done, they will go see proper political will. So yes, we don't punish them people and they, but then we can look back. Inside this of this year, so now true say na false receipt, then one for see heads rolled in that direction. Then we see say we really serious in terms of fighting corruption. So political will is not limited to the president. It goes beyond the president to appointees, to members of parliament and all of that. But again, the president gets a key role for play in terms of upholding transparency and accountability as the fountain of hope on Sierra Leone, when I plenty people then look up to as the beacon of hope if we go forward in terms of fighting corruption. Then the second will is the institutional will. We get anti-corruption commission, yes, where now them they take the lead in terms of fighting corruption. That's not just one institution, but you get several other institutions there. We also for come on board in terms of fighting corruption. You get the MDAs there. Like Patrick messages now, you get the IMCs, the Integrity Management Committees, where according to the strategy, we suppose for getting all MDAs, we suppose for the watch out in the go so that corruption not will take place. So if they even nip them in the board at that level, they not go come to that way where it will be at national level and it will go be at the same in that thing there. So, but what happen, please? Most of the MDAs then, plenty but they not still established the IMCs. Some of the one they will even get the IMCs. How effective are those IMCs? Then they give them the leverage for do them work. When they engage them, some of them have not got side for the sit down for the meet. They're not even support them. That they show say the institution not willing, you know, for fight corruption because now there you will start on the third one. Now the people's will.
You will explain about the things them where as a country we for do, we for make hope they say we go make progress when the next report come out. You talk about the institutional will, you talk about the political will, you'll be there about to talk about the third one before we take that break.
Yeah. So the third will in the fight against corruption, now the people's will. We all know say the ACC gets a responsibility for take the lead. But the ACC not gets the manpower they follow and they all sign at the country for able for suicide corruption they take place. So they rely on the people for raise the red flag on corruption. Are the people willing and ready to fight corruption? That is also key if we for succeed in the fight against corruption. We've seen instances in Sierra Leone wherein people then they celebrate the corrupt. You go see if somebody then prosecute them, they find them guilty. You go see people them they come on the street for go talk, you know, because people them really, you know, not a look at waiting ACs they do in terms of fighting corruption for the general good of the country, or waiting we for do so that corruption will be minimized. Some people them just they look at this fight from their own personal benefit, you know, based on maybe whatever affiliation. That way then they look at if they touch my own person, then that telling the fight's no good. If no other person, yes, the fight's good. So the people get to be willing and ready and give the required support where this fight here so need. Until and unless we get all them three wheels there so, you know, they've worked effectively. Everybody taking responsibility and do what he's supposed to do. Work with integrity. Then it will be very difficult for we get to the level we want for series in then kind international ratings there so. So now if we come to the CPI specifically, we will find out say year in, year out, mostly there's studies there so we are mentioned. Now in they can look at for each country there. If you look at the one for 2023, mostly now then same one there so. And you get indicators inside and study then they where now in we they look at. But what think it happen in Sierra Leone most of the time, we they look at the fight against corruption just from corruption itself. When somebody or an institution don't be corrupt, then we look at how to prosecute that person there or take action. But we get enablers of corruption. We then think then they also we need for tackle them. Okay, we they talk about political party financing, talking about patronage. All the one they are enablers of corruption. If that need to take place, corruption not happen yet too. So ACC is not go good. But if they tell we say this study they tell we say if we want to fight corruption effectively, we not just they look at the corrupt act. We've also for look at the enablers them and tackle them one day if we forfeit corruption effectively.
Talk about patronage, where the ACC say then they investigate a matter we get for do with a public officer we known as the former chief immigration officer we testify in a parliament say one by in cars the way Nigeria gone get him as a gift. We been spark a whole lot of debate. We make ACC been open an investigation on that. Some of the issues there where you just talk about. This is an example I just give for sure say the issues there really they happen na salon. And with all of the imagined issues there, 2025 reports, you see prospects.
Well, like I say inter alia, we only go change the narrative if we ready for take the action there. Like where we dey look at the CPI, I talk about the indicators there. Yeah. Now, political party financing na other one, and plenty other things than we have been saying. So based on them thing then they, when are some of the indicators them also we perform poorly, as a country, and year in, year out, and then same study they look at. So if we want for improve and we score now the CPI, we get for take action them for address the areas then they who sign at the indicators then by then study then they. So when them institutions then they come like the World Bank and engage for find out some of them things then them, they will get good reports so then go put inside. And when we say go analyze the report that day, we will come out with something we will show an improvement. So we make some recommendations then inside the press release. So we've been pulled Transparency International Sierra Leone, where we've been pulled in relation to this CPI 2024, where we look at the indicators then they and see this side will perform poorly and if we make progress on the CPI. Now some parenting there. One, we say we for improve public sector accountability and access to information. That's now one thing. So if we able for improve our public sector then they be accountable and access to information where the every follow be accountable, then we can able for make progress. Then secondly, increase legal enforcement against acts of corruption. So the ACC gets a role in that. The judiciary also get a role in that. Like Patrick said just now, currently we get a lot of cases that now the courts we don't take 10, 15 years. So the judiciary need for speed up the case and they take action. So that all lengthy and then they look at. Then also we for ensure that appointments in public sector must be merit based. Now we not get appointments say because I get the power, I go appoint me fumble, yeah, of a political party and colleague, even though you not get the capacity, the capability, and the qualification, but you use your power for put and day. So all that thing and day, we need for the make sure say we dey watch them and we dey talk about them and get the institutions and they for do the right thing. And the fourth recommendation.
Edward, yes. One thing where somebody who they watch you now, they listen to all of the recommendation there, where they say when I don't make. But they wonder now if really the public official them were responsible, they really watch at their reports there and listen to the recommendation there because all the things that they recommend, they just like the reverse they happen.
Well, this one thing we're glad about. Patrick Yasso is from the ACC, the lead institution in the fight against corruption, and as an institution, they wholeheartedly accept the report.
But the same
that commitment,
the same party don't tell me say this report, the things that we do inside it, not just they talk about them one ring.
Yeah.
So it's in a country report.
Usai,
say if we collective
Usai the gap they small. Now that in the actions of the commission, the focus can always be on corrupt acts and taking action against the corrupt. You understand? But looking at the enablers of corruption, we go encompass other institutions then get some small constraint in that area there. So, what do we say? This kind of report now, just they show say, yes, we they look at corruption, need for do more, but also, let me look at the institutions them, where come into play in terms of all the other areas they are so where they support for let corruption happen. And then we make sure that we go into them. Then get one good thing, where they call the systems and processes review within the Anti-Corruption Commission. When the strategy were very good, where then they look at all the MDAs, them other institutions, then look at their operations, look at the possible by the way how they operate, the thing that would happen, we can create corruption and make recommendation as to waiting for do for crop corruption.
Strategies and the way the ACC don't
Yes,
use over the years don't they work.
And they can they. But if fine for go do the study. You do the study and can make the recommendation and send it to the institution. But who side the lapse day? Now the follow up for make sure say then do the recommendation then they. Because it is only you can do the study, you have the recommendation, send it to the institution. But if you don't follow for make sure say the institution put a recommendation in place, it's just business as usual. So these are some of the areas them we need for be strengthened, on the part of the ACC. Get money for do more systems review because because of resource constraints, now few them can do. But do more because get a lot of MDS them. And when you do, you have your report, you get the recommendation, send out to the institution, continue for engage them, through the IMCs also and owners for make sure say power, they implement the recommendation and they. And if they don't implement recommendations, actions should be taken. Because they say, which Africa man, they say if you not put fire and a tortoise back, you not go move. Now that's we believe. And if you not kill dog na dog, dog not go believe say die this. So we need to go the extra mile and tackle the enablers of corruption. And it will be very, very important for that we make progress more in terms of them international leaders like the CPI.
Let me just bring Patrick Sandy in from the ACC. Waiting they prevent now from move forward, because if you say you are constrained or not limited apart from resources, you will say that the law and also na responsibility tap. But waiting they stop the commission, not for review na act. If una think now the powers they will not get for take action, we go reduce corruption.
You see, you got to look at broadly, not only the amendment. Firstly, like the issue I mentioned about audit, that is constitutional. So you know go one for go into that. Sometimes it is actually just about, if you like, personality or administrative issues. But as I will say, it is not something that we really had issues with. And speaking to the same audit, now also the attitude of MDAs for not taking auditors quite seriously. And that is where we are moving to. Even the point where my brother they make here, with all the recommendations where we make. Now also because MDAs are not even bothered about these reports and what goes into the report. Truly speaking, not only ACC. At no point me don't even see me, and not see other person. Me don't see a particular MDA concerned about World Bank handle report if they are not concerned about what they will benefit from the World Bank directly or the African Development Bank directly. So it is but high time. I make a say this is a clear call. It has to be coordinated, but it's about who takes leadership. The SEC will collaborate, will talk with Minister Krumah very well. If they ask for information, will do. But then who do we make to coordinate so that this thing will get, if you like, the authority needed so that MDAs will really take that kind of action that is expected for their then play their impact. Especially talk about public sector. You get the public sector reform unit, you get the office of the chief minister, you get the vice president. How are they interacting? You see, it is not me for sit down and do this. But ACC, yes, which side will they interact? We do. You talk about speedy conclusion of cases. ACC will taking cases to court. We don't have to be seen as somebody where they also go say, no, this case not for past 3 months. For let we ensure expeditious trial, we had our special anti-corruption division. But again, what do you do beyond that? Where they ask that the law for men. The law is so strong, whereby in the top say you get for, if you are convicted, there's mandatory restitution.
Mr. Sandy, why are you sounding different this morning? We'll talk about collaboration. No. You look, they sound like somebody who they work in an institution where they do so much, but the other team player, they know they give them this support for succeed.
There are challenges.
You they sound like somebody who really tired.
No, I'm not tired. I can never be tired. The point is now for let we understand them much more clearly. Unlike how we would just say this is all about ACC. And that's why my brother don't also come with very good recommendations going forward. How do we address these issues? Just as even the The MCC gets loan some indicators for this. I just say when they talk about breastfeeding, when they talk about immunization, of course, control corruption. But then you have to see, for let you pass the 10, for let a country be qualified, so to speak, other people have to play in. If even you pass 9, there's that indicator where there's that mark where you not able to get. So this is just the point we will understand. So ACC, yes, we are playing our part. But then what happens? Appointment to be merit-based. Now we the appoint. So these are the issues where we have to look at from a global perspective so that we see going forward. What do? ACC, we can come and through support to the Transparency International Sierra Leone chapter. But what other MDAs are also showing that kind of commitment? Just as they say with audit report. Until recently, before people started the audit report. But you go, the auditor will say in the kayak today.
So
the next day, you
know they get the support so now they expect from the other MDAs, then that you say.
Oh yes, from other, not all, but some MDAs are really challenged.
So this report will they analyze this morning based on all the thing them way Edward don't state and Yusuf, it clearly shows say it's not just about the ACC, but other institutions are supposed to come on board. But now, anytime where citizens they hear about corruption and the ACC and the further part, is it that una they come for take a blame, not on one getting responsible for?
No, well, not to say we are always taking the blame. It's about the aspect of corruption we possible they look at, we will refer to the ACC. Otherwise, you therefore make clarity. That's why you get public education outfit now ACC. People that they yes, any matter they come to ACC, but we will tell us, no, this is not ACC matter. But for instance, an issue they will go see like the one way you show me, the one way you get for do with money, where they say don't miss when a government public institution, somebody when a government worker holds us in salary, it will go report. So there are clear-cut issues where people report when they know about ACC. Some kids were misguidedly, some because they really do not understand the role of the ACC. But as I say, we also they make effort. So when people they always point at us, we are not worried, so to speak. Now only for them we do much more so that they will get clarity. And you know, say we are also in a country where the level of illiteracy is very high. So how do you go about to work on those things? That's something different altogether. But the point I want to make here with my brother this intervention is that let us be taking this report very seriously. Not about what you have to benefit directly. For instance, if you look at the CPIA, I have been part of it, that governance improvement by countries, where they make with the get money, then at the credit, the extended credit facility, where IMF could be. It's also important, but there are other sectors. Recently, we had an engagement at Ministry of Finance. The IMF mission been there for make an assessment. We made our input and other institutions as well. And as we go forward, the issue of even climate resilience therefore come as another assessment of countries in the effort for maybe the broader perspective of fighting corruption. So we have to look at all these developments. And how do you rate the ACC coming here when you get MPAE, when you get EPA, and you have the ministry? So these are just eye-openers or enablers for let we know say the things that get wider. These are institutions you don't have control. Then they set the indicators, and as a country you have to work towards it. And we can say, let us be talking to the TI office in Sierra Leone and ensure which aspects that we have to take seriously moving forward we go impact positively on ranking. Otherwise, I tell you, we will not be doing well.
All right, Mr. Sandy, let we listen now to waiting with viewers then get for say concerning this CPI report what they analyze this morning. The first one where they take it is say in the context where the Anti-Corruption Commission ACC and the Parliamentary Accountability Committee, the PAC or Parliament in general are vying for control over the audit report, it is evident that Sierra Leone is losing ground. The latest CPI report by Transparency International serves as a clear example of this decline. The drop from 35 to 33 out of 100 is disheartening and deeply concerning. The ACC should continue building on the positive impact they've made over the years. Without prejudice, the overwhelming thirst for political power can sometimes lead to the compromises and misdirection that hinder the genuine progress. This they come out from Marcus Bangura.
All right, so we look at small messages. We don't come at the program at the YouTube channel. This one from Alaji Sitaba. It asks, can the ACC tell us with which act that gave them the right to look at the audit report before Parliament, as he was talking about public education?
All right, this other one again, we don't come out from Abubakar Rashid. They say, please, can you ask the ACC man on the revelation of the Chief Immigration Officer, Honorable Kane, on the 2 properties he bought in the USA? He accepted having those properties, but the timing of the purchase is the issue. Can the ACC look into that?
Samuel Thorley say it is very difficult to defend wrongdoings. Corruption in Sierra Leone is higher now than ever in the country. Even the people in the remote villages have now known about corruption.
This one from Jara Kausu content on Facebook. They say, Patrick Sandy, you talk, so MDAs are not bothered about this Transparency International Corruption Perception Index CPI. This government has failed in the fight against corruption, but we all know why.
This other message again from Samuel. It says, Mr. Sandy, with all due respect, why are you upset this morning? It is easy to defend the truth than defending the wrong.
All right, one more I go take. Then they come back in the studio for response. This one from Mohamed Jallo. They say, look, Mr. Sandy, up till now, the ACC cannot tell us the investigation about the ex-chief immigration officer who has 5 luxury cars.
All right, the final one we go take before we come back to the guest then. Robert Cabo say, believe me, if the ACC investigates Kane, the immigration boss, it will end like the former immigration boss with all the vehicles that were presented as it was seized by them. But he walked out free.
All right, well, from the messages then they come back quickly in the studio. So with 2 studio guests they will get, in case you just tuning in, they watch the breakfast show. And today, we analyze the CPI, when the Corruption Perception Index for 2024, where Transparency International Global survey, where they do with their counterpart them, also they rank country them based on their performance them. We get for those key issues them where they look for. And this 2024 report will they analyze. It shows that Salon dropped 2 steps down from 25. They rank them now to 33 out of 100 country them. What did this mean for the fight against corruption? Now they discussed at the program. And we don't get Patrick Sandy, we're the Director of Outreach and Public Education. And we get Edward Bighoma, we're the Acting Executive Director for Transparency International Salon. We'll start with you, Mr. Sandy. Then we'll come back to Edward for end up the program because you get most of the messages then. Sure. You will just start for respond.
Yeah, I want to tell the viewer that I'm not upset at all. I'm composed. Probably not the manner of presentation. But I'm not upset because I'm here for this and for this and this and the working at the ACC for tell people them waiting actually to go on. Then also my brother Jared say I talk about the MDAs. I think this is not something new, so to speak, because we don't be in a situation where MDAs more particularly can be only interested in report of things that we can do directly with. And this point I will say over and over again, just as it happened with auditors. Until recently, invariably people MDAs will see an auditor take it seriously because of their reports. But otherwise, it has not been so. And as we even discussed, the GI will don't talk. Tell me which one MDA don't even show interest. Or say, oh, we'll try to do this next time. It's only about the ACC. So the fact of the matter is, yes, we are the lead agency by law, but we also need support from other people. Somebody says it's difficult to defend wrongdoing. I don't know what you mean by that. The fact of the matter is, when we don't accept the report, and then we are not saying anything that doesn't show it be. So what is defending the wrong? With somebody they say, is it the point where they make that it is not only the ACC we're responsible for the governance, responsible for the transparency, accountability, and integrity space? I think that is no wrongdoing. We don't take the report, and at the same reason why make can be say when the report be positive, people that be feel say will they interfere with the report or will they bribe the one the way they can go on. We were telling them our data, and we don't argue data. So I'm not here for say are they against the wrongdoing. No, it is data. And I said it, that we accept the report. That is the outcome. There's a drop, there's a decline. And so we need to do more so that we will improve as a country. Then the issue around the immigration laws. Somebody they say you not believe you know, but thank God the other person will send the message now say, and it can in case therefore can end the former immigration laws. So the fact now is that person will ask that question is that we had concluded the former immigration boss to Nigeria Kakai in investigations. And what we came out to know was that those vehicles are somebody's tenant. He did those declarations in the asset declaration form. We made that also very clear. But now the only inconvenient approach to this, now when the person is in a so can somebody also said if you don't accept, but at the time I am not even privy to this. So that's why when you show me and I tell you, frankly and honestly, I've seen it for the first time. When I get to the office, I will ask around it and let us know where we are taking it. Right. But for say don't accept, I don't know. So for let the person say back that now so in case and this is where people want to drive off ACC. They want for say what in them what now we will do. And it cannot be. It cannot be. We have to work on evidence. Because as a corporate institution, we can sue and can be sued. So somebody in your sentimentalism or your emotional will drive with you in a so therefore if you don't see anything said in a we can't say still. Because people that if you say no, it may not be the same. No, we are not driven by those things. Okay, to fight corruption in Sierra Leone, you have to be thick-skinned. If not, oh my God, all the time now so that this will be left and right.
All right, many thanks, Patrick Sandy. Quickly, they can to you, Edward. It clearly shows the people really interested in some of them things they are so and they put out now you put EIA near out. But before you left maybe Mr. Sandy self could benefit from that. How you think say could get better?
Well, the only way how things will get better in terms of we ranking and fight against corruption as Sierra Leone. Now, first of all, we get for accept who side we did as a country in the fight against corruption. We my brother Patrick don't do on behalf of the institution. And this will go beyond the Anti-Corruption Commission. Now that all MDAs and all public sector people for look at this report as the position of Sierra Leone and the fight against corruption and commit themselves for address the areas there when are some the indicators then where we look at inside this study also and put their shoulders to the wheel and make sure say they work with integrity and for make sure say we address the area then they now only then we go able for move forward. Then also we get forget serious and sincere political will. We get forget the institutions then for be willing, the IMCs then, the integrity management committees then. Please, I appeal to all MDAs. Let them set up the IMCs then and let them give them the free hand for do the work what they do. Because like what reports they also come out, the cooperative they say some MDAs them will not even recognize a report like this day. Like now the IMC then within the MDAs and for receive this one and look what they say and see how them go cascade some of them in there also in the operations then for improve what they do. So please let the MDAs them establish the IMCs according to the anti-corruption strategy and make sure say then give them the power and the resources where they need for do their work. Then also the people of Sierra Leone like are very much happy the message that we can say show say like how you say Mabel, people are very much interested in the fight against corruption and waiting they happen. So this same interest where then they show pandemic reports they also they come out. Let them show that same kind of interest and commitment for also fight corruption by way of opening the eye for the suicide corruption and they speak up against corruption, raise the red flag and make sure they support the Anti-Corruption Commission, they take it and whosoever they come on board for fight against corruption in Sierra Leone.
Thank you very much, Edward B. Comer, Acting Executive Director, Transparency International Salon, and also we other studio guests, Rena Patrick Sandy, the Director for Public Education and Outreach from the Anti-Corruption Commission. Who they are this morning, we analyze the CPI reports we come out from 2024, which shows the Salon drop down in the fight against corruption from 35 to 33, And Mr. Sanido explained to me some of the factors they were responsible, but he said as an institution, they will continue to collaborate with all other institutions and for ensure that it gets better by the time when the same reports will come again, same time like this next year.
Please subscribe to my new YouTube channel Don CLIN and hit the notification bell to be notified for new videos.